to help raise that money for you. So next on our list is CauseVox. I'm going to go ahead and pull that up on the list of donor programs. And again, we're highlighting just a handful today, but you saw that list on that eligibility check showed a lot of different options available. So definitely take some time to look at the others as well. So Patrick, can you tell us something about CauseVox, please?
At this point in time, a lot of people have probably heard about crowdfunding. And CauseVox is just that. They are a crowdfunding platform that makes their services available to TechSoup members. So if you want to build out a fundraising campaign, a peer-to-peer campaign where maybe you're trying to raise funds for your school, CauseVox can help you develop a campaign and then spread it out among your peers. And they're really great at facilitating your organization's story and getting it out on your own custom little web page. It's a fantastic program for those organizations who are looking to branch out in their fundraising beyond the typical year-end letter of appeal, or maybe selling, operating like an e-commerce store. CauseVox is a great way for you to expand the types of fundraising that you're able to do.
Great. And you can see on this page that there are two types of subscriptions listed here. And both of these are one-year subscriptions, and they do have a different transaction fee based on the different plans you get. So, and this is a transaction fee per transaction that you would make with a credit card, for example. So even if you use PayPal or some other company online to manage your credit card transactions, you're paying some type of transaction fee. Sometimes you pay a monthly service fee to your bank in addition to a transaction fee, depending upon the merchant account and how you have that set up. So it's a great option, and look at the different fees because one may make a lot more sense to you than the other. So paying the $186 admin fee for the year might make sense if you have a lot of transactions because you get that lower transaction fee. So definitely take some time to look at that. We also we have some content that we have in our resources section, which you can find up here in our articles and how-tos about credit card processing and different ways to select the plan that fits best for you. So if you're not sure how all of that works and which types of fees are the most likely to work best for the types of donations you receive, like maybe you receive 10 big $5,000 donations per year. Maybe you receive 100 $5 donations. And the difference between those two can make a big difference in your bank account at the end of the year depending upon which type of transaction fee setup you select. So keep that in mind when you're looking at these different programs, that the immediate price for the admin fee might be a little daunting, but it might make more sense depending upon the types of transactions and types of needs you have for your organization. So moving on from CauseVox, the next on our list to look at is eTapestry, which you'll notice here that there is no eTapestry listed here. And that's because eTapestry is a program offered by Blackbaud. So take note of that. If you're looking for a different product on our site and you don't see it listed here, it might not be under the product name. It might be under the donor name. So keep that in mind. And you can always use this search box up here if you need to, and it'll hopefully pop up that product name if you search for it. So let's go down to Blackbaud. And we will look here, and so we see a couple of different things. And I'm going to go ahead and just click through to eTapestry's Starter Package subscription and invite Patrick back onto the line to tell us about it.
eTapestry is a really good donor management tool if you're an organization that has about 1,000 or less funders. So if you have a small congregation, if you're a school that has under 1,000 funders, if you're a local Salvation Army chapter or Habitat chapter, a local Catholic Charities, and you yourself have 1,000 or less contact records, it's a really good system for you because it helps you track both your donors as well as your actual fundraising campaigns. And you can manage everything through your web browser. eTapestry is a cloud-based service. So yeah, for those of you who have 1,000 or less contacts, which is the vast majority of charitable faith-based organizations, this is a really good tool for you. If you're an FBO, if you're a church or synagogue and you're filling a stadium, we have a lot of other donor management tools too available that you can go to and see by browsing our site by solutions and looking for donor management.
That's great advice, yeah. And definitely, you can see these related articles here on the side. Do you need a new donor management system? What types are there? These are great resources to help you evaluate sort of the types of donor management systems you might need and whether they'd work for your organization's needs or your church's needs. So definitely take some time to consider that before you dive in. And that goes for any technology, not just donor management systems. You want to make sure that you're making the best decision, and so do we, and that's why we provide these resources. So next on our list of hidden gems to highlight is Bloomerang. So right here on the list, Bloomerang. And while that pulls up, we'll go ahead and have Patrick come back on and tell us a little bit about what Bloomerang offers.
Bloomerang is a brand new partner here at TechSoup. They joined us about a month ago, and they're also an online donor management tool. So they're a great tool for organizations that have to manage a good amount of contacts. They're also available through a web-based interface, and they're very, very easy to use. They're great for reporting and donor retention. So if you're an organization that's actively trying to build a greater and greater fundraising base, this tool is really great to help you understand how your donors have worked with you in the past, maybe what some of their giving habits are, and it lets you print out some pretty fantastic reports so you can make smarter decisions around how to engage your donors, how to run fundraising campaigns. It's a good all-around tool for that.
Great. And while I'm on this page of Bloomerangs and looking at the subscription, I just want to point out that there are some things to look for on any product page that you're looking at. So one, is it available? Sometimes we'll have products on our site that will say out of stock, or maybe that's the only thing they'd say is out of stock or available. But you want to make sure that one, the product is available. And with something like Bloomerang, because it's a subscription to an online service, that's almost always going to be available unless they decide to no longer donate, which would be sad. You are also going to look at the admin fee. But then down here under the description area, you want to make sure that you're really looking through all of these details, what the capabilities are, what the benefits are, how you access the subscription, all of these details down here. You want to make sure that you're really taking some time to look through this. It's not always the most tantalizing information to read, but it's definitely useful to look at. And then system requirements, you see these other two tabs here. System requirements. Now this one, because it's an online service, you just need your browser and an internet connection, so that's pretty easy. Rules and eligibility. This is the other area where again you'll see in detail the eligibility for the different programs. And we had somebody ask a question a few minutes ago about the discrimination clauses that are in many of the descriptions on our eligibility and restrictions pages. So I'm going to highlight that down here. So again, our donor partners can select that they want their donation to go to shelters and animal services and youth programs and nobody else. Or they can say we want these donation programs to go to everybody who's a nonprofit and no libraries, and anybody whose budget is more than $1 million a year cannot get this for this price. So they can set all of those parameters. Most of them also include these non-discrimination statements in their eligibility and restrictions pages. And these are pretty standard descriptions that you see all over the place. That you see it in housing and employment advertisement. So these are the standard anti-discrimination or non-discrimination disclosures. Somebody asked earlier, actually a couple of people asked, so what if our church does teach things that are may be considered discriminatory by some groups around sexual orientation, for example. Now, I don't think when you register your organization, we're not asking questions like that. We're not asking, do you teach X, Y, and Z in your school, or do you teach anything about one gender being superior to another, or anything like that. And I'm not implying that any of you do that either, but we don't ask those kind of detailed questions when you register. And it's very infrequent that we would be digging into anybody's day-to-day activities to determine if there was any kind of violation of this. Now, if somebody's on the news in a big confrontation, then one of our donors may hear about it, and they might say, you know what, we don't actually want to donate to these people anymore. And that is actually part of the donation, that they can say, if they're, I don't think it's ever happened personally. I don't have any history of that ever happening. But if for any reason, so when you go through the process to request donations, for example, like if I was logged in and you could see the things in my shopping cart and I went through the process of requesting donations, there is an acknowledgement thing where I say, yes, I acknowledge that these donations are, that I am eligible to receive these through my organization. And I acknowledge that if this donor comes to me, if this corporate partner comes to me and says, we want you to write a little testimonial about how this has helped you, that yes, we will do that. Not all of the donors require that, but this is part of essentially the grant exchange that takes place through our site. So like an in-kind grant or any kind of grant application, you may have things that you need to deliver back. Now it happens very, very infrequently, and most of it is entirely voluntary, where maybe it's TechSoup that sends out an email and says, hey, participate in our contest and tell us your story of how these products have helped your organization. And you might say, hey, these have helped me a lot. I want to write in a little blurb. So that's about the extent that most organizations would ever contribute to that. So I just wanted to kind of address that since we were looking at the details on this page, because a couple of people did ask questions about it, and I hope that helps clear it up. So as we move on, we're going to open up to questions in just a couple of minutes, but I want to look at two more quick programs on our site. And this next one is refurbished computers. So for those of you who aren't looking necessarily for software or services, but maybe you need hardware. So we have a big program, our Refurbished Computer Initiative program, and I'm going to invite Patrick to tell us a little bit about that too.
The RCI program, the Refurbished Computer Initiative, is a program that we've been operating for a long time, and it's one of the programs that we are most proud of. We work with 3 different refurbishers around the country who take computers that are being turned over from companies that are refreshing or other sources, and they bring them back up to modern standards. They install the latest versions of Windows and Office. We outfit them with antivirus software, and they all come with a total worry-free 90-day warranty. The RCI program includes a lot of laptops, desktops of different tiers, so different speeds, different RAM. We have refurbished monitors. We have bundles of laptops, computers, and monitors. So we really invite you to go through the catalog, see what's there. You can browse computers by high tier. So if your organization is running some kind of more sophisticated photo editing or video editing software, you might need something from the high tier category. If you just have a couple of office computers that are maybe getting older and you want to replace them, then the middle tier might be something